you talk about false prophets. I've had it up to here. I've had it up here with these false prophets and these dumb sheep in America that believe them. You know, they always come out in this sheep clothing. You know, we're concerned about your health, safety, and welfare. God forbid, we got to do something about these deaths that are going on in the street. 5 little Oriental children were killed out there in California, which I think is a tragedy. I want to put that on the record. But, we're just so concerned. And I thought, you hypocrites, because the same time period that we had this thing take place out in Stockton, California, where the man shot 5 children, Ted Bundy confessed to murdering at least 20-some white girls, and he said it was as a result of pornography. Do you see any of these Babylonian horse-thieving politicians wanting to outlaw porno shops? Do you see any of them wanting to outlaw even those cheap Saturday night special porno shops? Do you see them wanting to stop the pornography imports from other countries? Not that we need it, we got plenty here. No. Why? Because you're dealing with a bunch of stinking wolves. And it's about time we have some preachers stand up and start calling a wolf a wolf. And for that matter, a sheep a sheep. And a dog ain't a sheep. That's just for free. Isn't it interesting, too, talking about the kind of people we're speaking about, that we have in the Senate a bill being introduced for gun control by Senator Metzenbaum. Oh, really? Well, I'll write that down in my notes. Jew. And then we have a bill being introduced in the House by a man by the name of Congressman Berman. I think his probably real name is Bergman, but both Jews. I've got the bill. I went over to the to the Capitol building, and this is H.R. 669. This bill wants to actually confiscate weapons that I have at home right now, and that hopefully some of you have at home. Isn't it interesting? 2 Jews. Isn't it interesting? All the claims and the documentation that has been made that Judaism is communism. Isn't it interesting that even rabbis themselves have admitted that? Isn't it interesting the type of people that want to have your guns? I had an interview when I was in Washington, D.C. with Larry Pratt, the Executive Director of Gun Owners of America, and we're going to use that on the radio. And he made a statement, and I came back and I said, well, you know, Larry, there are some people who would disagree with you on that. Gorbachev, Castro, Metzenbaum, King George III, V.I. Lenin, the hero Chappaquiddick, as Jack Moore calls him, Ted Kennedy. You know, more people have died in the backseat of Ted Kennedy's car than all the gun owners in my family. Isn't that interesting? Then we have people like Stalin. We have their quotes. Mao Zedong, one of the greatest mass murderers in all of history, he favored gun control. The stinking hypocrite, like all these wolves are, he said, power comes out of the barrel of a gun. And these stinking hypocritical communists say, power to the people, but they want to take the very power away from them. Yes, my friends, you think of these names when your congressman has the audacity to say, well, I'm not sure how I feel, but we got to do something. You do nothing, man. You've done enough already. I've got a Constitution and I got a Bible that gives me the right to own that defense weapon. And you'd better listen, Mr. Congressman. And I shook my finger right in that old big nose. And I says, you're playing with revolution. Understand that only an enemy wants your weapon. Only an enemy would want you to be defenseless. I've got enough sense to know when I'm in a battlefield and a man's shooting at me that he's an enemy. If you go over there and ask how he feels about me owning guns, what do you suppose he's going to tell you? I think it's the worst thing in the world. You see, the communists, they love peace, don't they? But their idea of peace is when they got all the guns. It's that simple.